Today we're going to be learning how to do a handstand for beginners in gymnastics. Learning to do a handstand is basically like the most important skill and position to start off for beginners because it's just basically the fundamentals of how to learn how to do each step. Because basically whenever you do like any skill in gymnastics, you basically start off with doing a handstand. Being able to do a handstand, it has to be perfect, is one of the skills you should learn to master whenever you're a beginner. Handstands is basically the most important skill in gymnastics. Handstands is used for like most tumbling skills, such as like doing walkovers and handsprings. Handstands is also used for, importantly, for bars. As you continue to do gymnastics, you'll progress each level and you'll realize that learning to master a handspring as a beginner is important because it's going to be really useful whenever you do like complex and like very difficult skills as your career goes on in gymnastics. One of the keys is, as to nailing handstands, is making sure your back is extended and your legs are completely tight and your hands are really close to your ears, and make sure you hold your core so you can hold the position. For the beginners, you will have to start off by doing like just stretching just to make sure you don't like injure yourself. Like make sure you're stretching your arms, because as you hold basically your whole body weight upside down, it'll take a toll on your arms. So you have to make sure you stretch your arms fully before you practice. And as I said before, as beginners, we will start off as like up against the wall, and once you feel comfortable enough and like have your core perfectly tight and know that you're comfortable enough to do it with like out having the wall up against you, then you'll move on to do it without the wall. As the assessment, I will be making sure that your legs are tight, your feet are pointed, and your hands are very much close to your ears and your core is tight to make sure you can hold the position longer than 10 seconds. Unfortunately, we don't have anybody to example. And also, for like one of the gymnastic rules for handstands, is basically just making sure you have a calm presence and your mind is clear so you can perform and do the exercise. So first, as to doing the handstand, you'll have to put your hands on the floor in front of you, and one at a time, not all together, but you have to do 1 foot at a time to make sure your heels are touching the wall. Then once your feet are touching to the wall, you're gonna walk your hands closer to the wall. As you get closer to like your back is touching the wall, to make sure you are there and you are basically up straight but upside down. The tops of your feet should be flat against the wall, but you have to make sure your toes are pointed, so you can also making sure your toes are pointed can also bring like you can hold your position longer and it'll be easier for you. If you have your legs going crazy, then it will be very much easier for you to be unbalanced and you will lose your balance out of the handstand position. You have to keep your head neutral, because if you keep your head unneutral, it's basically just making your body more difficult to hold the position that you're supposed to be in. You have to look at your hands with your eyes too. Make sure I said that right. Yeah, you're supposed to look at your hands with your eyes, just because you have to keep your head, basically keeping your head neutral, so you have to keep your body straight to hold the position, as well as keeping your core tight. As the beginners start to do that, the instructor will be making sure, looking around, helping the gymnastics people to make sure that you're keeping your muscles tight, and to also making sure your feet are touching together and they're pointed, because basically those are the key rules as to keeping the correct gymnastic position as to holding your handstand longer. And once you master that, you can move off the wall as you continue your gymnastics level.